Welcome to the Mom Life Unscripted podcast, the podcast show that normalizes the struggles of motherhood without being a Debbie Downer or using toxic positivity. Stick around for motherhood journeys from everyday mamas just like you, plus how we're navigating this wild ride we call motherhood. You might even come away with some tips you can use to survive and maybe even thrive. Society puts so much pressure on us to be the perfect mom when there's no such thing. This prevents so many of us from sharing our stories for fear of being mom shamed. As my favorite sociologist, Brene Brown, says, shame is the most powerful master emotion. It's the fear that we're not good enough. If we can share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame can't survive. We're all in this together, Mama. I am so excited to have my good friend Laura on for our premiere episode. She is co-founder of Messy Minivan Moms with me. It's a really great community that we have on Facebook that's all about encouraging and empowering other mamas and sharing real, raw motherhood stories. We'll chat more about that in the episode, but I'm so excited to have her here. She came into my life about 2 years ago, and we've been pretty much inseparable ever since. We have 7 kids under the age of 5 combined, so we are all about embracing chaos and rolling with the punches. And we actually even went through a pregnancy together. Our youngest babies are actually 1 week apart. So I'm so excited to have her here, and I can't wait to get started and dive in. So, welcome everyone to Mom Life Unscripted. This is our premiere episode, and I'm so excited to have my really good friend Laura here. She's one of my mama besties, and we'll talk a little bit about each of our journeys through motherhood and how we connected, and how we're embracing the absolute chaos that
Yeah.
comes with uh together. Like combined, we have 7 kids under the age of 5. So
Crazy. We know chaos. Yes.
yeah, so I'll start out by saying I have 3 kids. She just turned 4, a 2.5-year-old and an 8-month-old. And before I became a mom, I was like I'm still super anxious, but I was very crazy anxious. Like I felt like everything had to have an exact plan and it had to go according to plan. And if you have kids, that's just not reality.
Yes, especially with our daughters.
Yes.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
are world changers. I'll tell you that. They're gonna
yes.
change the world. So yeah, and then Laura, I guess you could kind of go into a little bit about your motherhood journey. Yours is
A
interesting.
little crazy. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have 4 kids. They're very close in age. I have twin 3-year-olds, a 2-year-old. He was born exactly a year and a day after the twins. And then I have an 8-month-old. So I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And obviously, I know chaos. Like, you don't have kids and not know chaos,
Right.
especially toddlers. And as Katie said, our daughters are world changers. They're wonderful.
Kid, feisty, all
Yeah.
the awesome things you want in a girl, but it's like
Oh,
having
it's hard. It's gonna be great when they get older, but now we're just like trying to ride out, like just getting them to that older age without, you know.
we're raising ourselves. That's
Yeah.
what I think. Like I go back and tell my mom all the time. I'm like, I'm really sorry.
Yes,
This is hard.
gosh, these girls are hard. But yeah, as you said, I mean, I worked with kids my entire life. Like I have all these little cousins, as you know, from family functions, and then I worked with kids from 15 until I got pregnant. I was 21. And I thought I knew everything. Like I was so confident going into it. I used to be in baby room at work and have like 8 babies, and I would have them all asleep, nobody crying. Like I was like, I got this. Then I go into motherhood and I get my son who is colicky, acid
What?
reflux.
My oldest is like that
Yes.
too. Yeah, like same sleeping habits, still doesn't really
Yep.
sleep well. Like she was up at 5 a.m. this morning crawling in my bed and I'm like, please go
Mhm.
back in your room. No. And I'm
Oh,
like, I'm too tired. I'm too tired to fight. Just
yes.
leave me
I
alone.
say my son was brought into this world to humble me and show me I did not know squat. Like he was showing me that I needed to take a what is it? A dose of humble pie because
Yeah.
I thought I knew everything. I really did. I thought I was gonna slay motherhood. Like I thought had it, like it was gonna be amazing. But yeah, no. It had me by the choke
Yeah,
hold.
I feel the same way because I had started babysitting. Gosh, I was probably like 10,
Yeah.
12 years old because the way it's like my brother and I are almost 7 years apart, and
Right.
my parents' friends, a lot of them had kids my brother's age, and
Mhm.
so like they saw me and for whatever reason decided to trust me with their children. No. And I remember one time I was like 15 or 16. I swear to God, I had 7 kids because it was a blended family. It
Mhm.
was um 2 boys and then I want to say 2 girls and a boy. And then so it was 5. And then they had friends over. So not only did the parents trust me, the friend's mom
Yeah.
who never met me. I was just like, that blows my mind as
A parent now.
I'm like,
Yes.
whoa, but then I see my godchild who is 11
Yeah.
and you know who like when
She's
she's at the birth,
amazing.
she is so amazing and I'm like, okay, I would trust her. So
Mhm.
I'm assuming it was similar.
Mhm.
But
True.
yeah, it
True.
was it totally humbled me because I was like, yeah, I got 7 kids. I got this.
Yeah,
And
and then we get
um
our own.
you get one and I only had one. You had twins. I had one and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I love this little tiny human
Right.
more than my life itself, but I am in
Right.
survival mode."
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I know so like I had my son 18 months later
Right.
and then by that point I was just like, I don't know. I just kind of learned to it is what it is.
Mhm. You just have to do I mean, my kids, they don't wear socks. It's like a new thing. They refuse socks, and I was just telling my husband about that. I'm like, "I'm pretty sure, like, it freaks people out when they take their shoes off and they don't have socks, but at home, you have to choose the battles, and if you want sweaty feet, that's on you. Like, you'll learn if you get blisters, but, like, for me, that is not like, do you know how many more important things I have in the morning than to fight with 3 toddlers over wearing
Yeah.
socks?"
Like, did they eat breakfast?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly, and, like,
that's
get
the
out
most
the car.
yeah. Well, and to my oldest recently decided to start wearing leggings and then
Uh-huh.
bike shorts over the
Oh,
leggings. And I'm
fabulous.
like, all
Yeah,
right, okay. I'm like, it drives me nuts, but I'm like, okay, I
you would
just
just whatever makes yep, and, I mean, it shows her personality too,
oh yeah.
like
It's yeah, that just sums it up. Marches to the beat of her own drum.
yes.
Very
Uh,
much. So, and then, yeah, and then it's just like with the babies. Oh, fun fact, our babies are exactly a week apart.
yes,
Yeah.
to the
To the day.
day.
It's crazy. It's so
Yes,
crazy.
and it was
I,
kinda planned, kind of.
I
We knew that we wanted them close.
we did. We know like she was like, "Oh, I think we're gonna start trying." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll start trying too." So I don't know if your husband gives you like jokes or like
Oh,
messes with
yeah.
you about that,
Oh,
but
yeah.
mine does. He's like, "Oh yeah, you playing that?" He's like, "Are we gonna plan the next one?" I was like, yeah."
Already done. We already got it. We got a
We
pregnancy.
already know.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you though, seriously, going through, I've never been pregnant with any of my friends before.
Right. Me either.
The like I feel like it just strengthened our friendship so much because
Yes.
we're going through the same thing at the exact same time. And it's just like even though it was well, yeah, it's the third pregnancy for both of us because
Yes.
the yeah. So even though it was our third pregnancy, we're like, is this normal? Is it like
And a lot of the things that, like, was not normal for me, you've had before, and then a lot of things
and
that were
vice versa. Yeah.
yeah, so it worked out so we were able to bring each because we both have pretty bad anxiety, so we could bring each other down a level
Yeah.
because, you know, we are a little anxious together.
are. Yeah, even with my Zoloft.
Yes.
But I will tell you, has helped so much.
Yes.
And that has also like helped me embrace the chaos is getting help for my mental health. Like,
Yes.
and I'm not gonna say medications for everybody. I put it off for gosh, I don't even know how many years. Because there's a stigma there.
There's
And
such a stigma.
there's
Yes.
such a stigma, and but like one day, or I will tell you, I share my like journey through mental health so openly because I had several moms, and it gives me goosebumps even talking about it. Several moms that I know that have openly shared their story with me and how they had to go on anxiety medicine or their I don't know. One time one of the moms I know was telling me she just like lost it on her kid
Yeah.
and who didn't really do anything. And I literally the same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
And that the next day I made an appointment.
Yeah.
But just having them share that.
It's
It,
amazing. I'm so pro like mental health
yes.
awareness and like really quick, I was gonna add in. So Tanner, my 2-year-old, he came in a year and a day after the twins, and people are always like, "Oh, like I know that was an accident, like you didn't plan that." But the truth is, I became in such a dark place after the twins because I don't know, I did not like being a mom. I loved my little babies, but I did not like being a mom. I don't know, I was not myself and like
Mhm.
I I hated being a mom. I wanted to be pregnant again. I wanted the twin pregnancy all over again because when you're pregnant, everybody is asking how you're doing. They're checking up on you, all of this. When you have a baby, they're cutting you off mid sentence to check on the
Mhm.
baby. They're like they forget about the mom. So I was like, I want to get pregnant again. And it was not wise. I mean, he's the best thing. He's so sweet, but
Right.
I was in such a dark place that I was like, I need to get pregnant again so that like I can feel that joy of
Right.
being pregnant. But then as you know, it's I wanted the twin pregnancy all over again, but it was not the twin pregnancy. So then I had to cope
Right.
with that. But like I said, he is the best thing ever. He's so sweet and their bond is amazing. But mental health is it needs to get talked about
Oh
and
yeah.
it doesn't always happen really quick. My little soapbox and then I'll get off of it, but it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
happen immediately after you have a baby. It could come on months after. And
Oh
like
yeah. For sure.
so anyway, that's my little soapbox because like I said. So I don't know, I just want everybody to know that it's okay to not like every part of motherhood and it might not be what you
Yes.
think it is right away. Okay, anyway, I'm done with that.
Well, and I'm a big proponent too of two things can be true at the same time. You can love your babies
Mhm.
more than life itself, and you can also be struggling and not like motherhood because it's not what you expected. And I feel like, and this is another reason, and I guess we'll touch more on this later, but our group, we founded a Facebook group called Messy Minivan Moms because that's what we are. We're just
Yes.
a hot mess and we drive minivans.
Yes.
But like so many times we see the Pinterest moms, and by the way, no hate to Pinterest moms.
No,
Like
I think you're awesome. Like I
I
admire
try
you.
to be like that. But
Yes.
also I noticed when I was really struggling, I had a mom tell me, "Oh my gosh, you're so put together." And I literally laughed in her face.
Right.
I feel bad about that. But I laughed in her face and I was like, "Oh my gosh, no, I'm not. Like you are seeing just one very small part of my life." And I think I had talked to you about it and some other my mom friends. Um and we just like collectively were like, nobody's sharing the raw
Yeah.
motherhood.
And we're all still really good moms,
Yeah.
even showing the because it makes
My
everybody
dishes
come
are
together.
piled up in my sink, like, and I'm like that we have to separate too, household tasks from
Yep.
motherhood. Like
Yep.
we have to separate that. But yeah, so that's why had a little bit of a mental health crisis. I mean, it wasn't severe. There were no thoughts of like self-harm or anything, but I had a pretty, you know,
You had like a life revelation.
yeah,
Yeah.
right before I turned 31, and in July, and I just was like, I feel so alone.
Mhm.
I feel like I have the weight of the world. I can't do this, you know. And so then I just decided to share that, and it resonated with so many moms. They're
Right.
like, "Oh my gosh, me too." Because social media, we see that small little snippet and
Right.
everybody, and I had people telling me, "Oh, you're so put together." I'm like, "No, I'm not." So that's why I was like, "We're gonna start sharing this."
Right. And I mean, it really has. I think if you're listening, go join the group because it
Yes,
truly,
I'll link it in the show notes too.
yes, it honestly, the group of women we have are so amazing. They're so vulnerable, but not in like, I don't know. It's everybody's just so uplifting and empowering. And I've
Mm,
posted pictures of my messy house. Like you probably can't even walk a step into my house without stepping on a Cheerio. And people are like, "Oh, my house is like that too." Like, do not feel bad. They're taking pictures of their house, and
yes,
we're good moms, even though our house may be a little messy or a lot messy. We're still good moms. We still love our kids, and I think that's the best thing that came out of the group is still realizing I can say I'm a good mom. Like I am a good mom, even though it might not look like a good mom compared to like those perfect moms you see on social media. We're still good moms. I mean, so anyway, I just wanted to say that because that group
well,
has been amazing.
yeah, and I guarantee those moms on social media, there is something there is something that they are battling that we are
Yeah,
not seeing. And
exactly.
you know what? They don't have to share that with us. That
No,
is totally
exactly.
up to them. I wanted to share my journey and my struggle because if I'm a big proponent of I've had some pretty intense life experiences.
Mhm.
Just not even gonna lie. I had a very abusive relationship that almost ended in me getting married to the guy. And anyway, that's a story for another day. Um, but basically, I tell that story so openly because if I can help somebody, if my
Right.
pain can help somebody, you know, it just, I don't know, it helps me to heal from
Right.
the trauma. I think.
No, I agree. And like I'm so open because, like you said, like I think we also bonded about that is that we are extremely, maybe a little too open sometimes. Very
No.
like nothing is off bounds for me, and I'm
No, it's not.
I just think that like I want to make people comfortable. Like, okay, I never went through an abusive relationship, but if I, well, I don't even want to say if I did. I'm trying to think. Okay, postpartum depression. I went through
Right.
that really bad.
Yeah, me
Open
too.
about it because I want somebody to be like, well, I can talk to Laura about it because
Yes.
she struggled, and it's okay because she's so open about it, and that makes me feel like I'm not alone. Like you said, I'm
That's
not
the thing.
alone.
Yeah, it's we feel so like there's such a stigma and we isolate and we're ashamed. And Brene Brown, I don't know if you follow her. She's an oh my God, I'm obsessed. She's a sociologist and she does research on shame and vulnerability. And her thing is if we share our story with somebody and they respond with empathy and kindness and compassion, then shame can't survive. And it's so true.
That is
So
true.
yeah. So that's like I really wanted to emulate that with
Right.
any of my life experiences. Um, because I feel like there are so many people that are like, "Oh, well, that happened for a reason." I'm like, "No, I didn't deserve to go through that." And I
You
just want to
deserve
like, well, I didn't deserve to go through that. However, I am looking to part of my healing from that is sharing my story and hoping to help other people.
right. Yes, I approve. Like
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah. It's just, and I think it all goes back to, just being open and finding
Mm.
other people that are embracing the chaos because
Oh yes.
I just,
Oh Lord. I'm just laughing. Okay, also side note, we both have ADHD.
oh God, yeah.
So our topics just you're in for a
It
ride.
makes sense in our heads.
It
Like,
does.
and when my husband does not have ADHD.
No.
So when I talk to him about stuff, he's like, how
Yeah.
did you get from here to here? And I have to explain. And I always tell people my mind goes faster than my mouth.
Yeah.
Like I ping pong
Yeah.
topics. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that reminded me of this, which reminded me of this, which reminded me of
And
this.
it all makes sense in our head, but then to other people, like you said, because then I sit there and I'll explain to my husband, well, we said this, which made me think of this, and then it's completely off both sides of all the spectrums, but then like it makes sense. But
It really does. And it's so funny when I talk to other people with ADHD,
yeah.
they I can keep up and it's just funny. And then I read something about it was a meme. It was like if you're in a relationship with somebody with ADHD, it's like microdosing Wikipedia because they're a
Yeah.
random and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And my
True.
husband was playing his video game with his friends or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we need to ask such and such because he's like the Wikipedia." And I was like, "Ask him if he has ADHD." And I was right, he did. And I was like, "See, I told you."
Love that.
It's so
So
funny.
true. Yeah.
It
Oh my
really
God.
is. So, I guess I feel like we jumped around a lot, but
Yeah.
talk a little bit about how we kind of got connected. Our husbands used to work together,
Yes.
and we met at a Christmas party.
Yes,
Gosh,
we were
how
the
old?
youngest ones. That
Yes,
was in 20, it was okay. So
2021. Yeah.
yeah, because we both had a 4 month old and an 8 month old.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
bonded over that because okay, first of all, we were like the youngest ones at the party.
Mhm.
And we
We
bonded
turned up.
over. Oh yeah, that was
I
fun.
did anyway. I don't know if you did. I was, whew,
You, I will never forget. You were like, I am usually not like this. Like, I promise. Like, I am a like. This
I'm
is
a good
not me.
person.
Yeah, I'm a good person. I used to be a teacher. You were like I. This is not me. And I was like, girl, it's okay. Meanwhile, your husband's like holding you up in the elevator. Like,
Yeah. Wait. This is after we decided to, how many blocks did we walk? We were trying to go to Cafe Du Monde.
yes. Well, you needed
And
carbs. I'll never forget that.
I was like, I need beignets. And somebody's phone said that it was open and
Yeah,
somebody's phone said that it
mine.
was closed. I'm like, no, we're going. And in heels, drunk as
Yeah.
can be, like falling over, walked lots of blocks.
Yes. It was
My
like
husband had to
midnight.
hold me up.
Yes, that was the funny. I remember you were like, I need to take a break. And he was like, no, you don't. You got this. Like,
I
come
was
on.
like,
God.
no. And then we get there and it's closed and I wanted to cry. I
Yeah,
don't know if I did cry, but
I think you did
I
actually.
probably did cry because drunk Katie needs
Yes. I
I
will
I needed
never
been
forget. And then my husband said he went to go get ice that night. Like we got back to our hotel room and he went to get ice and he's like, yeah, I walked past Katie and Mike's room and I just hear him in there like, okay, you need to go take a shower. And Katie's like, but I want beignets. I need pizza. I need something. And he's like, no, you have to go. Come on. Like, we have got to get you in bed. And you were like, I need carbs. And I just still think about he came in
I don't
cracking
remember that, but I like that is so something I would say.
that it was, but I mean, we really bonded that night.
That's
Like,
so funny. And I'm like, wow, and she decided to be my friend after that.
yes. Oh, I loved
Like,
it.
oh yeah, that one. I want to be friends with her.
I truly, it honestly though, like seeing us and like, I don't know, we just hit it off immediately. I felt like we just both brought up like, oh, we have kids. I think we were like, it's really hard. And then within, well, I don't know if you remember, we were telling the guy's boss about
Oh,
how baby twins are made. We were talking about like eggs dropping and
oh
sperm.
gosh, I don't remember that. That's hilarious.
Oh yes, we were because he has twins and you
I do.
he said
I
something about it was his like he had the twins and you were like, well, no, it doesn't work like that because a girl releases two eggs and he was like,
Oh gosh, giving the boss a biology lesson. No,
yes,
I'm sorry, sir. You're wrong. It does not work like that.
no,
Oh
we do all
gosh.
of it. Yeah, we
Mm,
do all of it.
yeah. And then wait, and then somebody brought Mardi Gras beads to the Christmas party, and we were throwing them. Okay, people were screaming for them, so it's not like we were just throwing
So
them
we
to people,
we're
but it was like yeah, it was like we're doing our own Mardi. And then I'm pretty sure I convinced you and the boss to take shots.
yes, oh yeah. We were doing lemon drop shots. Like
Oh God. And that's when you
yeah, 'cause I
decided
remember
to still be friends with me after.
Yes. Well, you were fine at the party, and then we started, like, we were halfway to Cafe Du Monde, and you were like, "Okay, it's hitting me." You were like, I have not drank in, like, so, because I mean,
Because I
both
was pregnant and breastfeeding,
yeah,
and wait, that was, like, right in the midst of it was kinda like the tail end of COVID, like,
yeah,
so we felt comfortable going out,
right.
but it's like, we hadn't seen anybody, we hadn't so it was, like, first time partying in, like, 2
Mhm.
years.
That was insane. It was so much fun, though. Like, I really had so much fun then. I mean,
It was so fun.
Are you struggling, feeling burnt out, and completely overwhelmed as a mom? If you are absolutely not alone. I know several moms that have been in this position, whether they are a stay at home mom, a working mom, a side hustle mom, or anything in between. You are absolutely not alone. In fact, I've been exactly where you are, and I know how hard it is, which is exactly why I created a free resource 10 quick and easy steps to avoid mom burnout. Be sure to go to messyminivanmoms.com/burnout to grab it. I'll also link it in the show notes.
And then I just remember, yeah, we hit it off, and then we did Mardi Gras parades after that.
with our what was okay, we had 1, 2
I had 2.
kids under 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 under 3.
And that's when we had the 2 babies, and then 3 of our kids were runners, like, they would run, so we were out
Yeah.
there with the,
Oh,
backpack.
by the way, leash book bags? Okay, do it.
Do it. I mean, you have
Do
to
it.
keep your kids
I
safe, like
and first of all, it allows them freedom too,
yeah,
because mine, if you pick them up, like, lose their mind.
yeah,
Lose
no, you
their
were gonna
mind.
get
So
kicked
this gives them freedom. And I remember too, I think one time my husband was sick, so I was at a Mardi Gras parade,
by
so
yourself.
and I had a baby
Mhm.
carrying the baby who's like
30
he's like
pounds. Yeah, please
seriously.
include that.
That and my other one on the leash book bag, it was a hot mess, but it was fun. I mean, they did great.
It really we hit it off, like, then too. So, I mean, I think that was, like, the second time we hung out, and I don't know, we really did hit it off because we both the chaos, like, I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
you
I
saying that, it
love
was so
the
good
backpack.
yeah, to have another mom friend who, like, isn't freaked out by, like, I don't know, kids screaming and throwing tantrums or, like, I don't
Or
know,
that I have
fighting.
a leash on my kid. I
Yeah.
mean, some people are mom shamers, and look, I'm not gonna lie, before I had kids, I was
Oh,
like,
I did not
"My
get it.
gosh, why would they do that? Their kid is not a dog." And now I'm like, "Do it."
Wait, I mean, because we get those runners, like, let me that goes back
Not
to
safe.
yeah, our kids humble us on the daily which, okay, I will say my 2-year-old, he's not as much of a runner because he wants to stay by the twins,
Mhm.
but, ooh, the twins, they used to go in opposite and they're
In opposite directions at the same time. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I remember okay, actually, after that Mardi Gras parade, you were like we saw the backpack leash, and my husband was like, "Okay, we need to get that." Like, and we
Yeah,
ended up
everyone was
ordering it.
thinking the
Yeah, and we
Amazon link.
had them for the other, um I was about to call them races, the other parades. Yeah, I don't know what my brain is like, you know,
Well, you're also sleep deprived today.
I am. Aren't we? Fun stuff. Oh, yeah, also, Katie and I will text each other throughout the night when our babies wake up.
I'm pretty sure it was like 3 AM. I'm gonna
It was
go back
like
right now.
3, yeah.
I'm pretty positive it was 3 AM. Um, yep, 3:24.
Uh-huh. It cracks me up. I look back and I'm like, "Oh, she's having a rough night." Like, she texted me at midnight and then again at 1, and I was like, "Poor thing," and then I'm texting her at, like, 4 in the morning.
Yeah, well, because I have my phone on sleep mode, so basically, like, it won't wake me up.
Right.
But if I'm up, I can check it, and I'll,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make noise or vibrate or whatever to give me the alert, but I can see I have a message, and I'll check it, and I'll just text back, and I'm like, "Well, whatever."
It's keeps me company because sometimes, like you said, we'll be up at the same time. I'm like, "Oh, this is kinda nice." Like
Right, and it all goes back to not feeling so alone, because
exactly.
especially in the wee hours of the night, that's when I had my postpartum depression,
I don't know if this was true for you, but so we had our first around the same. I mean, mine's a year older, but she was at the end of September and yours were in August. So we were kind of going into the fall, the winter, the getting dark. As soon as it got dark, I got so sad. Like it just like came over me like a wave.
I mean, I don't know, because I know your daughter dealt with like
Colic.
sleeper. Yeah, colic at night. I would be
all the time.
anxious all like when nighttime would come. I hated nighttime because I knew what was coming. I was like depressed and like I hated nighttime, like the dread all day until it hit dark. I just dreaded it. And then I mean, usually I would feel a little better the next day, like by the time, even if I only got 30 minutes of sleep, and I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, you would only get 30 minutes of sleep.
30
And
minutes of practice.
which okay, I do want to and like not in this, but just say this really quick. It does get better. Like
It's a
does.
season.
Yeah, it really. I mean, we have toddlers now, and they still might not have a great night's sleep, but your body, first of all, your body adjusts. So if you're in that like newborn, what's it, haze, the newborn haze, how fitting.
Yeah.
It gets so much better. Like, I mean, I know that probably doesn't help now, but like I just remember Googling on my phone, when will my baby sleep longer than 45 minutes? Because I remember my son would do 45 minutes to the dot. Like
Yeah,
he would
that's because they can't connect the sleep
Yeah.
cycles.
because
And fact, sorry, really quick, because ADHD.
Yeah.
We actually found out that was because my daughter had a tongue and lip tie,
So
and
did
they
my
don't
son,
sleep. And I didn't know about that until my third came along and he was making weird noises, nursing, and like was trouble sleeping. And you told me that you're like, hey, go get him evaluated. And sure enough, he did. And once we got that corrected, oh my gosh,
world of difference. So
like different kid.
I agree.
Wakes up once
Yeah.
for now. I mean, depends, but
normal for kids to, I mean, it's hard. I'm not saying that's not hard, but I think like through this, I've also realized, okay, it's normal for kids to wake up in the middle of the night, and it's okay if they do. Because also another thing is you see these moms on TikTok, and I'm so happy for them that their kids sleep through the night, that they get a full 12 hours, but that's not the case for everyone.
most people. That's not really, and that's their reality. And I'm all about like, speak your reality, speak your truth, but also be aware that it's not like that for everybody.
Right.
And, just acknowledging that, like, for example, breastfeeding for me has, and I hate saying it like this, but breastfeeding for me has always come extremely easy.
Yeah.
And I am very much acknowledged when I say that. I tell people, however, I know that is not the case for a lot of people.
Right.
And I recognize that and I understand. And that's why I'm team like, your mental health matters more than if you breastfeed your kid or formula feed. I pretty positive they've actually done a study on that the mom's mental health impacts the baby more than formula versus breast milk.
So I have my twins, and they never really latched. Again, they had the tongue and lip tie. They were born at 37 weeks. It was just a whole hot mess. But whenever I texted my grandma and I said, I am really thinking about feeding formula to my kids, and I said I'm feeling really guilty about it, which I don't know. It's just in my head, I had
is normal.
Yeah.
I feel like
there was no doubt. I don't even think I had bottles. I didn't have formula because I wasn't gonna formula feed. I knew it in my head. I wasn't gonna formula feed. Like it wasn't even an option for me. Well, anyway, my son didn't sleep at night and he only wanted to be on the boob, which it was hard. And I started to hate breastfeeding, and I literally he would cry. He would get off the boob and he would cry for more, and I couldn't even be around him because I would get so frustrated because he just always had to
cry.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, like when I would hear the cry, I could feel my blood pressure like go up. I could feel, what is it, the stress hormone, was it cortisol? I could feel it like oh my God, I could just feel it rising.
How I was. And so I remember texting my grandma, I feel guilty. And she said, yeah, but you have to think about, you have to be the best mom to your ability for them kids. They would rather be formula fed, but you be well rested and you be your best. And I mean, they'll be full either way. They're going to get their nutrients either way. Like they are going to, hit milestones and let me tell you, I've had formula fed and I've had breastfed, and
You
there's
can't tell. You
no,
can't.
you can't. Look, let me tell you, they're all the older three, they're toddlers, and they're out there eating rocks and silica packs. It don't matter if they were formula fed or breastfed.
Eating the week old chicken nugget on the van floor.
Yes.
I found that, and then they took a bite, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah. And then they eat it. Yeah. But they'll turn their nose to vegetables. You give them
right."
something. That's a yuck.
Well,
But then they go eat a silica pack.
yeah, exactly. Like it's just, I'm so society has like ingrained in us that we have to be self-sacrificing to be a mother. And don't get me wrong, I have made several sacrifices for my children.
Right.
However, I am not going to be the best mom to them if I give them everything. The whole put your own oxygen mask on first. You can't pour from an empty cup. And it's so true. So it's finding the balance.
Right. No, I agree completely. I mean, and take what you have, like take resources that you have available to you. I understand not everyone has resources or yeah, I
Yeah.
have a family, and like it has taken a lot for me to tell me if you feel this way. So after I had my twins, I was so exhausted, like beyond exhausted, but I felt like I couldn't ask for help from other people because I'm like, I'm supposed to be tired.
Yeah.
I would feel guilty taking a nap because I'd be like, well, I'm supposed to be out there with my baby. Like I'm the mom and I'm over here
Still
needing
feel
it.
like that sometimes.
Yeah. And
Not as bad, but no. And I really, so just the timing of my first coming into the world, it was almost like, I don't know. Well, it's definitely meant to be, but the position, so my dad was not working at the time. So he would be able to come over. So like the first, I would say 2 months of no, 3 months of her life, my like he wasn't working. He
right.
was working on like getting onboarded with a new job, and it was taking a while, but that was such a blessing because like he could come over. He's like, go take a nap.
Yeah.
Go. I've got her. I will bring her to you if she gets hungry. Go take a nap. And even we were at Thanksgiving and I went and laid down with the baby to nurse him, and he came to check and he's like, oh, is he asleep? I could stay with him if
Right.
if you want. Like just having that support, whether
Yeah.
it's your family, whether it's a friend. Like I always say, if we lived closer, which hopefully
Oh,
they
we will
soon.
soon. I'm manifesting that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
me too. Like, cause you'll have a hard day. And I was like, God, I wish I did not live 45 minutes away. I would tell you to bring your kids to me.
And
You
our
know,
kids are such good friends and like, well, yeah, as best as they can.
you know what? They almost remind me of like siblings or cousins.
Yeah, they fight, like I'm talking physically fight, but they are each other's best friend. Like they are obsessed with each other, and like they light up when they see each other, and
Oh,
like
they talk about each other all the
oh yeah,
time.
oh yeah.
All the time.
I look, we said at the same time, but yeah, it's just use the resources that you have, and if you don't have any resources, reach out to us because we might be able to find like. I just want
Yeah.
to say that because I took social work classes. Katie is super amazing with just finding information. Like you are very
I feel like an FBI or CIA agent. I joke about that all the my husband's like he jokes about that too. He's
yeah,
like, you could like work for the FBI.
it's so true. I mean, it really is. So definitely I just want to say that reach out to us because I love to help other people, especially moms, because I know the struggle. I love to help anyone, but especially moms because I know the struggle. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out
Yeah,
to us.
yeah, and too, like we'll put the link to our group in the show notes and come join the group. And we have a list. We actually have a few pinned posts
Yeah.
of resources. So you could check there, or if you can't find anything, reach out to us. We are so willing and able to help, even if it's like, hey, I just need a vent, or
Yeah.
something, because motherhood is so lonely and so chaotic. I call it, what do I say? It's joyful chaos.
Yes. And it's
Because,
true.
yeah, two things can be true at the same time. It could be so joyful and fulfilling, but it can also be chaotic and hectic and stressful and overwhelming.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, come join our group.
Yes, please do. We have so much fun too. And I mean we have recipes, like easy recipes.
It's like crock pot stuff to make your life easier, like
Yeah.
mom hacks. Gosh, there's just so much stuff in there. And then just really the community. That's probably my favorite part.
I love it, the different people we have, because we have experienced moms, we have moms that are,
Brand new.
yeah, pregnant mom. Like it's such a wide variety.
Moms.
Yes.
I just one of the episodes for the podcast that'll be coming out, she's a mom to 14 and 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Um and I used to babysit her kids when they
Oh,
were my
I
kids' age.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like such a full circle moment, but she's sharing some really awesome insight and just talking more about how a lot of this is a season and
Mhm.
just kind of going through that process. But definitely her whole thing too was find your village,
Yep.
whatever that may look like. It doesn't have to be family, it could be friends, it could be if you go to church, it could be church, it could be
Parenting center. Look for
yeah.
parenting centers around. That is my other piece of advice. Look for parenting center around y'all. Because I want to say they have them all over, and it really is amazing. You meet amazing people there.
For sure. Yeah, there are definitely ways. It's not always easy. I don't want to, make it
Yeah.
oversimplify it, but there are resources out there and just finding your village and finding people you vibe with. Because I've have moms that they're nice and we talk, but I don't necessarily vibe with them because they don't like or they don't like to embrace the chaos
Right.
or maybe they only have um one kid and they're I hate to say it, quote unquote easy,
Right.
um, even though no kid is easy, right?
No,
But
but I know what you mean. It's like
compared to, to a Tasmanian devil tornado. And that's fine. Like that's totally them. And if that's you, you got to find people that you vibe with. So
yeah,
if you
and
don't
we
like
admire you. Yeah.
yeah. If you don't like chaos, find another mom who, maybe is more organized and can really help, I don't know, help you with that. I need more of that. I need more organization in my
I
life.
agree. I could benefit from that so much. Oh man, my house. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just, really all about rolling with the punches and finding somebody that you can do that with.
I
Finding
agree.
a village. So
Right.
I'm just so glad we found each other. That was such the perfect timing too.
It
I think for
really,
you and for me.
yeah, I just got out of I had a friend group that I had, and I was the only one that became a mom, and they're wonderful people. But as y'all
So
know who's
different.
listening, it's after you have kids, your priorities just shift
Mhm.
completely. And I felt really alone because my kids are my entire world, and like
Yeah.
I just didn't have other people who had that. I mean, I had family who has kids, but they're also a lot older. Like I said, I
Yeah.
was
It's
21
different.
when I had the twins.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. So it came in at such a good time. And then, I mean, we've been pretty inseparable since. I don't know about you. My husband would be like, "Are you texting Katie again?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Okay, give her a break." I'm like, "Well, no,
Oh,
it's
no,
fine."
don't give me a break. How many times do I literally, oh gosh, I think it's an ADHD thing. How
Yeah.
many times do I send 7 text messages
Oh,
in a
yeah.
row and then apologize and be like, hey, I'm sorry I blew up your phone, but if I don't send it right now, I'm gonna forget.
And sometimes you just need a rant, and like we understand what it's like. Like, I don't know, sometimes you just need to get what you're feeling out and then send it and then move on from the situation.
Exactly. I think that also ties into embracing the chaos of motherhood is sometimes you just need to let it. I'm all about feel your feelings,
Yep.
let it out, and then okay, you take time, not too much time, but you take time to do that. And then okay, how do we move forward and solve the problem or get past this?
Mhm.
And I feel like that just makes it easier to roll with the punches is having a sounding board almost like, hey, this is what happened with my kid, am
Yep.
I a bad mom? Because we all,
Oh,
I,
yeah, like,
right
last night
before we got on, you're like, am I a bad mom for?
yeah, and then you were
You're
like, "Oh,
like,
no, we've
no,
all
I've done
been
it.
there before," and I was like, "Okay," I was feeling so much guilt, so
No, and wait, I was at a birthday party the other day. And they were telling me about one time their kid ate too much ice cream at the last birthday party and they threw up in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And they're like, yeah, but we didn't find it till tomorrow morning. I was like, okay, so I'm not glad that that happened, but that happened to me too. And I'm glad that I'm not alone, because I
Oh, yeah.
felt like a horrible parent that I didn't see,
Yeah.
that I didn't catch it on the baby monitor,
Yeah.
and I was so thankful, because it was parents that I didn't know. Like, it's not like I was talking to you where we're like best friends. It was somebody I am friendly with, but they felt okay to share that. And I was like, oh,
It makes me feel, which, okay, it just made me think of that. It's kind of off topic, but I was talking to my mom and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know why we had this issue so much when we had the twins. Well, I guess because we had twins and we were sleep deprived. We kept washing diapers. Like, they would get mixed up in the washer
I've done
machine.
that before. Yeah.
Like, it happened and I was like, Mom, don't you hate when you would like wash a diaper? She's like, I can't say that ever happened. I'm like, okay, this is like a common occurrence for her. And she was like, yeah, that never happened to me. And I was like, okay, maybe, like, it was such a common thing for us to
Oh,
happen.
I've done that before. Wait, and then the worst is if you put it in the dryer.
Yeah. Oh, or you put a crayon in the dryer. Just PSA, don't put a
Yes,
crayon in.
I have too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's again, and it's just like, I joke, like, this is why we can't have nice things, but
Yeah. I mean, it's
it's
true
just a
too.
season. It's just a season. Like, it is what it is. And I just think the more kids I have, the less I care about what other people think.
No,
And the more I cling to my core people,
yeah.
my core family, my core friends that are like my people. There's not really a whole lot I could do for
Yeah.
them to be like, oh, well, you're a bad mom. I mean, because I'm not.
We love our kids. And let me just say, if you love your kids, you are a good mom. You're a good parent.
And if you're worried about if you're doing a good job with your kids, you're a good mom,
You
period.
are a good mom. Okay, so just really quick, I want to get into this. When I was in social work, this was before I had kids, and we were in class and we were like learning about scenarios. And okay, first of all, I don't condone, like, obviously, like, beating your kids, but
Right,
as
right.
becoming a mom, like, and I would never do it, so I think, but you understand how people snap, and that's why you have to
Sure.
find your tribe. Like, you have to find, well, you don't have to, I'm not gonna tell you have to do anything, but it would be beneficial if you found your tribe, like Katie said, whenever it gets chaotic, to, like, get what you're feeling out, text it, and then you can move on, because motherhood is hard. Like, I don't know, I just think that, like, I'll never forget, like, in class and be like, "Oh my gosh, like, how can somebody, like, hit this?"
Snap and
Yeah,
do this.
like, yell in their kid's
So,
face. Yeah.
yeah. And how many times have I feel like both of us, I've texted you something and you're like, okay, go take 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Put them
take a
somewhere
mom
safe.
break. Mhm.
Go take 5 minutes. I don't care. Like, put them somewhere safe and go take 5 minutes. And I've done that for you too, because you'll text me, oh, my daughter or my son or
Yeah.
whoever is doing this. And I'm like, okay, can you put them somewhere, and like somewhere safe? If it's in their room, fine.
Mhm.
And then you go and breathe,
Take some
because
breath, blow out the candles. Yeah.
you can't be so self-sacrificing that you just, if your
Mhm.
needs aren't met, then you can't be the best human,
That your
mom,
kids
wife, partner, whatever.
right. I agree.
I think it's just so important. But yeah, so this was the first episode of Mom Life Unscripted. You got a lot of unscripted stuff here
Yes,
today.
always.
As always, we're very open. So, yeah, like Laura said, come join our group, Messy Minivan Moms. It's on Facebook, but we'll link it in the show notes. So, you can go there, join our group, and hopefully find your village of moms.
Mhm. I agree.
If you made it this far, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Mom Life Unscripted, the podcast show that normalizes everyday struggles of motherhood without being a Debbie Downer or using toxic positivity. If you like this episode, please be sure to rate and review the podcast and subscribe so you don't miss a thing.
And don't forget to grab your free resource linked in the show notes below, 10 quick and easy steps to avoid mom burnout. See you next time.